Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this special edition of our student support webinar on the important topic of digital citizenship. This webinar is aimed to help families with the knowledge and skills they will need to help their children as they navigate the digital world responsibly. I'm thrilled today to be joined by Melissa Billsborough, principal of the Wheelock School, and Holly Caulfield, the principal of the Wheelock School. We understand that obviously schedules may be super busy and making it hard for some families to attend this live session. Therefore, I am pleased to inform you that the webinar is being recorded, and the recording will be made available to all families through the principal's communications for those who are unable to attend today or wish to go back and view this webinar again. It is our hope that this webinar session will provide you some valuable insights into the digital citizenship lessons that your children are exposed to during their elementary days at Memorial, Wheelock, and Dale Street, and hopefully provide you with some helpful resources as well. I'm thrilled to introduce Mrs. Foley and Mr. Ahern, who are educational technology integrationists. These two bring a wealth of knowledge and experience to our students in our school. Their commitment to fostering digital literacy and responsible use of technology is invaluable for the staff and the students. And we are fortunate and grateful they are here with us today. To begin, I just want to talk a little bit about the Springboard that is really what all kids and staff use in the elementary schools. And that is our acceptable use policy, sometimes referred to as the responsible use policy. The school committee has developed in the year 1996 a policy talking about what is appropriate, not appropriate for students and staff using technology in the buildings. This was revised in 2001 to help people stay current with the technology they'll be using in school. So when Mr. Ahern and Mrs. Foley are talking about digital citizenship and the things they're doing in school, we always just use that as our guidepost, the acceptable use policy for all students and staff within the 3 elementary schools. So with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to technology integrationist Mrs. Marissa Foley.
Thanks, Steve. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you tonight. My name is Marissa Foley, and I'm the pre-K to 3 technology integration specialist for Medfield Public Schools. And your students probably know me as Mrs. Foley. So my time is split between both Memorial and Wheelock schools, but my role of delivering digital citizenship lessons at each looks very much the same. So at Memorial and Wheelock, I co-teach our internet safety lessons with the library media specialists, the lovely Mrs. Farahar and Miss Heavey in the LMC outside special blocks. So what that means is that the classroom teachers sign up for a time to come to the LMC for each lesson, which they also stay and participate in. In that way, classroom teachers are continuing to support the internet safety strategies students are learning with us in their classrooms, where the bulk of the digital learning is happening at school. So kindergarten through grade 3, I'll get 3 digital citizenship lessons a year that are based on Common Sense Education digital citizenship curriculum. And each year the lessons build off previous learning while also introducing new concepts. So let me screen share. Am I allowed to do that, Steve? Yeah.
Yep, you should be a co-host, Marissa.
Perfect. Thank you. So the curriculum, the digital citizenship curriculum, follows these 6 little monster friends. They're actually referred to as the digital citizens, and each of them teach about an aspect of digital citizenship. So for example, the one with the long arms is called ARMS, and he talks about how to balance your time online with your time offline. And this little guy over here is GUTS, and he talks about listening to your guts when you're on different websites and making the right choices for you. So what we wanted to do really quickly is just show you an example video that comes from this curriculum. So you sort of have a little peek into some of the big ideas that we focus on. So this one is called Pause and Think Online.
With your head when you're online, most especially your mind. Think about the things you see. Ask good questions, that's the key. Use your arms when you're online to take a break and balance time and leave your tech behind. When you find yourself a tree to climb, head down to your toes. Pause, think about it. From your feet up to your nose. Pause and think online. Use your gut when you're online. Pay attention to its signs. Know when it's safe to play. Make good choices every day. Use your legs when you're online. Stand up to bullies who cross the line. You can help friends big or small. Just lend an ear and stand up tall. From your head down to your toes. Pause, think about it. From your feet up to your nose. Pause and think online. Use your feet when you're online. Think about the tracks you leave behind. Privacy's the way to go. Don't share with people you don't know. Use your heart when you're online. Always do what's right and kind by showing friends respect and being nice on the internet. So think with your head, balance with your arms, listen to your gut, stand up with your legs, make good tracks with your feet, and feel with your heart. Just pause and think.
So I chose that video just because it's a really good representation of a bunch of the important things that we're learning. And that video is actually a part of one of the grade 1 lessons. So you can find more in-depth information about specific lessons on my website, which if you are on the medfield.net, if you're either in Memorial School or in Wheelock School, if you go to the Explore tab and come down to Medfield Elementary Technology, if you click here, and then if you go to Digital Citizenship and select the school that you're looking for, then the information on all of the lessons and also the videos will pop up. So if you want to continue to watch videos at home with your students, or if you want to preview what they're going to be learning, or have them watch it with you again at home, that would be the place to find that. And then all the way at the bottom, we have family engagement resources. So these are activities for different grade levels, talking points, things like that. So I think many of you are here or even just listening after the fact because you're wanting to learn the best ways to support your children from home as they're learning to navigate this digital world. It's really daunting right now as a parent. Those parent resources are a great place to start. My biggest advice to the parents out there is to monitor what your child is doing. A lot of games have chat features, and a lot of seemingly benign videos, even on YouTube Kids, can have violent or content. I'm often teaching kids to recognize when something online makes them feel uncomfortable. We talk a lot about what to do with that sort of uncomfortable feeling. And the first thing is to always step away from the technology. But the very next thing is to tell a trusted adult. So I think the best thing that you can do for your students is to be that trusted adult at home. Joe?
Okay, thank you, Marissa. So I'm Joe Ahern. I'm the technology specialist at Dale Street School, and I focus on teaching digital citizenship skills to the 4th and 5th graders at Dale Street. What I'd like to do is to share with you some information that I have. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And what you're seeing here is the information from the Dale Street Digital Learning website, which is connected to the Dale Street School website. And I did put a bit.ly in here in case you wanted quick access to get to this page. And on this page, I highlight some games that the kids play at school that they can also play at home. I have the responsible use policy with the all the components to it. And then I have here a summary of the lessons that I focus on in 4th and 5th grade. So I see students on via a schedule. So I see them regularly throughout the school year. And one of the areas that, of course, that we focus on is digital citizenship. And you can see here a summary of the lessons that I teach to the students. And what I'd like to do is just to focus in on one of those lessons. It's the first one called Our Online Tracks. And that is about digital footprints. And at the beginning of the school year, I survey students to see how they use technology at home. And I find that 9 and 10-year-olds do more than just simply watch videos. They're also, many of them have their own device and social media accounts, and they're taking photos, they're creating videos, and sometimes they're even posting them on those social media sites. So I emphasize to students that their online activity is not private, and everyone should be careful of what they post. And one way I illustrate that is through an activity called the profile guessing game. And this is through Google Slides, but it's got an interactive component to it it's called Pear Deck. So it lets students actually interact with the slide show itself. And I introduced them to 3 fictional characters. And those characters are Christy, Jess, and Rob. And the only information that they're actually given about these 3 characters is their online activity, whether it be a message that they post, a place that they've been to, pictures they've searched for. That's the only information they have. And based on that information, their job is to write a description about each of those 3 characters. So they're able to do so right within the slide deck. Once they have studied the information, then they write the description. Once ample time is given to the students, then what I do is I reveal the truth. And I do so by giving them actual facts about the characters and then asking them what was familiar to them and what surprised them. And a lot of times they are surprised by some of the information they see because all they know about that character is what they learned about online. And the takeaway is to think before you post, and that people don't always know, who don't know you will make assumptions of you based on what they do through, say, a Google search. And then I finish off the lesson with a connection to the RUP. I always like to look back at the RUP and make that connection from the digital citizenship lesson to that part of the RUP, so that it's always something that we're looking back at throughout the year. So that is the focus with fourth grade. And then with 5th grade, these are the 4 lessons that I cover through the year and that we have conversations about. And the one I'd like to point out is the cyberbullying lesson. Cyberbullying is not a new word to 5th graders. They're actually, we have conversations about cyberbullying in 4th grade as well through the Super Digital Citizenship lesson. So in a sense, what I like to do in the 5th grade is have the students do a performance-based task. And they use an online comic strip maker called Pixton. And they have a choice of either creating a 3-panel comic which illustrates a cyberbullying situation and how it's resolved. And you can see this example right here was a student sample about a meme that was made on TikTok, and how the target here, this would be considered the target, the person that was cyberbullied, and the cyberbully, the target actually confronts the person, asks them why they posted that meme, and ask this friend to delete the post. So that is one example. The other choice students have is to create a 1-panel comic which asks for advice, and then it's posted on Padlet so that other students can actually type in, give their feedback on what they think can be done about the situation. So those are just some ways that we try to illustrate these important concepts of digital citizenship in 4th and 5th grade. And what I'd like to leave you with is some book recommendations, and it's linked here at the bottom of my site. And these are books that you can find in the library, you can find on Amazon, and they have connections right here to the core topics of digital citizenship. And as a father of a 4- and 6-year-old, I find that bedtime is a perfect opportunity to, of course, read a book, but also to have a conversation. So if I want to have a conversation with my child, probably more about media balance and the struggles we have with, my wife and I have with screen time at home, I'll probably choose one of these books here that are listed and then read the story aloud and then have a conversation afterwards. So again, this is linked on my site, and there's a lot of great resources here that you can look through and peruse and select, and again, at bedtime or any other time, read and have a conversation. So that is summary of how we focus on digital citizenship here, Dale Street.
Joe and Marissa, thank you so very much. I'm sorry, do you have something else you wanted to add, Joe?
No, that's all. Yep.
Thank you so much to both of you for sharing that helpful information. We definitely encourage, all of our viewers, whether you're here in person or watching at a different time, to explore those websites and the resources that both Marissa and Joe spoke about. And then obviously, to reach out to any of us if you have questions afterwards. We had sent out a Google form earlier prior to the webinar asking if there were any questions. We did not receive any questions, but are happy to open it up to our attendees. See if you have any questions, you can just post them in the chat if you have any questions that you would like answered now.
And just to sort of reiterate what Missy said, thank you so much for taking the time. This is such an important topic in this day and age, and the year 2024 is just, everything is technology based, and starting young I think is a key, because a person's digital footprint starts at a very young age when they start using anything with their own username and password associated to it. So in the school setting, we really do work very hard to protect not only every child's privacy, but also give them the skills they need to be a good digital citizen. And our hope is that that can carry over to home as well.
Thanks, Holly. It does not look like we have any questions now, but as we all said, we want to thank you so much for coming. We want to especially thank Marissa and Joe for their time and effort that they put into creating this presentation. We're greatly appreciative of that. And for those of you who are able to attend or watch later on, should you have any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you all very much and have a great evening.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.